Okay, so I've been trying to fix this for like an hour. So we had some audio issues. I still don't know what's wrong. It's something on our end. I've restarted it, can't figure it out, doesn't recognize any of my microphones. So there's like a weird cutoff. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. The audio is gone other than from Wyatt, and I don't really want everybody to listen to Wyatt just kind of talk about how he can't hear me and me just sit there and just like not know what I'm doing. So the good news is it's after we talk about everything that he's doing with Hinotori and stuff like that. So it's a pretty normal episode other than it just randomly cuts off. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I got to fix it for next week or a couple weeks depending on how long it takes to fix this. But I did kind of want to address it beforehand because it is weird. I mean, it's weird enough to where I am recording this on my phone. So, I hope everybody enjoys. I'm so sorry. If you know how to fix audio stuff, let me know. If not, I'm gonna bug Ty. Sorry, Ty. All right, welcome to the Save Par Golf podcast. Derek is not here. I don't know where he is. I think he's in Duluth or Chicago. It's one of the two. And if you're from Minnesota, you know where Duluth is. It's nowhere near Chicago. It's nowhere near Minneapolis either. So Derek is somewhere out there selling roofing supplies. I picture him as like a door-to-door salesman selling shingles, but I know that is not at all what he does. Anyways, I kind of want to do one alone where it's just me rambling for like an hour, but I don't think anybody would listen. And I was supposed to have a co-host, but Ralph was like, dude, I'm still in Hawaii. I'm like, you didn't have to say that to me as I'm sitting at home in Minnesota, not in Hawaii. But we still have a guest. We have Wyatt from Hinotori, and I'm going to do it. I told you I was going to butcher it. We're working through it. Golf.
All
Um,
good.
I'm not super familiar with anime other than like the basics Pokemon, Yu Gi Oh!, Naruto. Never seen Dragon Ball Z, but Ralph said I should watch in Spanish to learn Spanish. So we'll talk about it. But local Minnesota company, you're about 45-ish minutes from where I live, which is super cool. But I'm excited to kind of hear your story because man, it's something. Yours is it's a doozy. But
Wild ride for sure.
yeah, no, and obviously when we first started interacting, it wasn't even called Hinotori Golf. It was Unity Golf, which was
Yep.
sweet. But we'll start a little bit more current. Why don't you introduce yourself, introduce your company, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Wyatt Wentland. I'm the owner of Hinotori Golf. We were close there, but not quite. But so yeah, I started a golf company a while back. We'll get into the history of it, but right now it's called Hinotori Golf. We're based out of Hanover, Minnesota. So where'd you say you're from again?
Funny enough, sounds very similar. I live in Andover.
Andover. Yeah, no, people always mix it up. When I say I'm from Hanover, they're like Andover. I'm like, no, no, close, Hanover. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
based out
about
of
that's about
yeah.
40 minutes, 40, 45, 40, somewhere in there.
Yep, yep, definitely. But yeah, started a golf company for fun I started about a year and a half, 2 years ago almost now, and initially it was called Unity Golf, and we had some stuff happen. We made a transition. Now we rebranded. We're called Hinatori, and yeah, we're thriving, having a great time. So
Do you want to just dive right in and talk about what happened? Because I don't even fully know. Well, I think I know bits and pieces. I don't know
yeah,
the whole thing, but let's start with Unity because Unity was honestly a great name for a golf company, especially with the place golf is at now. I was like, damn, it's perfect. I don't know if that was your intention, but
yeah,
it made perfect sense. The logo, super crisp, just fluid. And obviously it was still heavily anime inspired. I don't know if that's what you say, but I say it's anime inspired. Um, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, it's not a thing anymore. You're untagging stuff, and I'm like, oh no. So you want to kind of
yeah.
talk about it?
Yeah, we'll dive in a little bit. So yeah, I started Unity Golf February 2024. So yeah, it's roughly a year and a half ago now. And
Almost
So Unity
exactly a
Golf
year and
was
a half.
a, what'd you say?
Almost exactly a year and a half.
Yep. Yeah, exactly a year and a half roughly. And I started it. Um, Unity Golf was an anime inspired golf company mainly. So the reason I started it was so that's a year and a half ago, roughly 3 years ago. I had gotten into golf now. So that would have been a year and a half before I started the company. And I was looking for anime inspired like golf stuff and I couldn't find anything. And like I have a big weightlifting background and there's tons of companies that do anime inspired products like belts and shorts and anything you can think of. There's an anime thing for it because like the anime and gym community are just super intertwined. So I like got into golf and I was like, oh, let's find some stuff. And it turned out there like wasn't anything. So I was like, okay, we'll come up with some ideas ourselves. We'll see what it's like. I've never started a golf company obviously before, but I've done little businesses throughout my whole life when I was in high school and college and whatever. So I figured, hey, we'll start another company. Why not? We'll build something that isn't there for the community and whatnot. So built Unity Golf based on that, mostly all anime inspired stuff, not too much stuff besides anime. And I kind of knew that copyright might come into it eventually, but I figured like there's tons of companies in the world. I know of a bunch, especially in the gym space, that are doing the same thing. They don't have official licensing, but they're making all these products. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't really trying to get rich or anything. I just wanted to have some cool products that I could go golfing with. So I was like, I'll just make this brand. And I did it. And it turned out it was a big hit because like pretty much instantly it blew up. And my first thing I did was I sold a glove. It was called a Curse Mark glove, and it was like a Naruto branded purple glove with some like black flames on it and whatever. And I did a pre-order and I sold like 150 of them within a weekend. So I was like, oh wow, like people actually are waiting for this. So I mean, from there it kind of just took off. I had tons of ideas. I learned how to find manufacturers. I explored the whole thing. And then down the line, it was probably we're jumping from February is when I started it. We'll jump forward, what is it, like 6 to 8 months to November. I was releasing, it's called an Akatsuki golf bag. And it's like that black golf bag with the red clouds on it. And that's like an iconic anime um, thing. And I released that and it was super big hit. But unfortunately, it was such a big hit that the anime companies saw it and they sent me a cease and desist. I remember on like November 2nd because I got it at like 4 in the morning. I'd woken up for some reason and I saw the email and I didn't sleep again because it was so stressful because I had 100 golf bags coming to my house, but I had a cease and desist that said, shut it down right now, shut everything off. And it was just freaking terrifying. So, uh, yeah, that's the story of Unity Golf. And then from there, obviously, we had to make some changes and make some transitions. And the goal eventually is to get back into anime stuff, but not only anime stuff. We transitioned to Hinotori Golf as our name now, which stands for Phoenix in Japanese. Obviously, the revival of the new company and whatnot. So the goal is to get officially licensed golf products eventually. But for now, we're just kind of doing our own thing. And we built this network of a community of um, manufacturers, golf influencers. We built like a little family and whatnot. So we're just utilizing that to build a different brand and then hopefully get back to our roots. But for now, we're just having a great time building something new for ourselves. So that's where we're at.
And you know what? That's what matters is you're having fun, you're building something. Um, but it's funny that, eventually a company caught on because I know a group of dudes. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want them to yell at me, even though they're going to listen and know exactly who it is and they're going to laugh at it. They use like the Rolex logo on everything. And like nobody gives a shit. Like I've showed it to some people and they're like, "Oh, it's just like a Rolex collab." I'm like, "No, they just used it on everything." And they're like, "Are they scared?" And I'm like, "These two dudes, not a chance in hell." And like that Rolex crown is super like you look at it and you're like, "Ah, Rolex," right? Like it's to
I know
me it's like
exactly who you're talking about. Based off, I didn't remember what the Rolex logo was, and I looked it up, and I went, "I know who that company is." That's kind of funny.
I love those are my guys. I love them to death. Um I absolutely love those dudes, but I'm like, they're gonna get in trouble one day, and then they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna keep doing it. Um, but it's funny that eventually someone found you through the bags and telling that you hearing that story because I don't think I've ever heard it. Um, was there an element of like, wow, I'm big enough to get a cease and desist, or are these companies just like petty to just be like, ah, well, nobody can use it type deal?
I There's a mix of both. So like I knew that eventually someone would reach out to me about this. I knew eventually I would get a cease and desist, but I was hoping it would be like because I had talked to several people who had tried to do stuff similar, not in golf, but other companies, and they were like, yeah, they probably won't catch you or do anything about it till you're like way big, like 50,000. Like this one other
Mm.
company that I follow, they're a big gym company. Like I said, they probably have 400,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram. And I was like, oh, like I'm not going to get, I only have 7,000 followers. Why would they care about little old me? So I wasn't really worried about it. But then that's kind of where I think in my head, the mistake was the golf bag because that was such a big, um, I can say this on the air. It doesn't really matter. I know who manufactures Ghost Golf's bags and
Mm.
I found them and I was like, oh, I'm going to use them to make the same bags, but like for my own brand. And it's not a big deal because tons of companies use Ghost Golf's
Oh
manufacturer
yeah.
to make their bags. A lot of bags look very similar to Ghost Golf's bags for a reason. They all go to the same place to buy them. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna like check out these awesome bags and I'm gonna make my own style of it. And that's exactly what I did. And I was so excited about it. And I didn't stop to think like, huh, maybe this will draw a little bit unwanted attention. It's a little bit too big, too fast. And that's in my head, that was where the mistake was made. And I mean, it is what it is. I learned a lot. And honestly, I golf companies that do bags, that's a whole other beast. I wouldn't get back into bags if you paid me, honestly. It was so stressful.
Believe me, we have a big sponsor, and having them talk to us about everything that they do in their factory alone, I'm like, no, that like no, because originally this is totally off topic, but they were like, yeah, we're having other people make the bags, and then you're being charged for like samples and fabric and blah blah blah, and they're like, we just decided that we can do all that in our factory and then ship everything and then blah blah blah, and I'm like, I never, no, I'm good. Never even thought about that,
That's
like
wild.
no, and like we use Omnix bags. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're not like cheap bags. They're like $500, $600. Are you googling them?
Yeah.
OMNIX.
Yeah. I see them now. I think I've heard of them like once. Oh yeah, I've seen these before for sure. For
Yeah,
sure. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
and it's like a very high end, high fashion bag. Like it looks like nothing else really out there right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Could you imagine trying to make one of those with the clear see through pouches, the carbon fiber legs, the waterproof gusseted zippers?
Hell no, that would be so stressful. Oh my
Uh, yeah.
God. No, thank you. Yeah, golf bags, not wouldn't do that. I did it out of my garage and I had about 130 of them. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like, it was a great idea in theory. Hell no, unless I have a giant factory, I'm not doing bags ever again.
They donated 4 bags for us for our most recent event, and I had them shipped to California because I'm like, well, I'm not going to travel with 5, including my own golf bags. Like that's stupid, not going to happen. And seeing all 4 of them in Raul's garage, thank you, Raul. I was like, oh my god, I felt so bad. I'm like,
Taking up all that space.
yeah, and I'm like, thank you so much. But I'm like, oh my god, in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're just little bags, but no, they're in the boxes and everything. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, no. But my bag is anime named. I learned that. It's
Oh,
like I like
cool.
the Sakura night bag, so it's black and pink.
There you go. Yep, from
Yeah.
Naruto.
Yeah. That's about the extent of my anime knowledge. I do want to talk about it because I'm afraid to dive down that rabbit hole personally, because I know how my personality is. So I know as soon as I'm hooked, I'm really hooked. But at what point did you obviously, you said, hey, I like anime, I like golf. There's nothing like it. At what point did you like anime enough to want to pair it with golf? Like, you know, what I'm asking is, as someone who hasn't really watched anime other than like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, I watched some of like Naruto growing up. where the hell does somebody start? And is there an anime that has golf in it?
Yeah, no, those are good questions, and I honestly kind of grew up with it. Like I was I don't know, I wasn't like a weirdo in high school or middle school or anything, but like I watched Naruto from when it was like first being released, and that was like I was in middle school, I think, at that age. On if you remember Adult Swim on
Mm,
Cartoon Network. Yeah, that was my shit. I loved that. And Naruto happened to
wait,
be on it.
that was an Adult Swim show?
It was either no. It was Toonami, which came right before Adult Swim, like
Okay.
in the airing time frame
Yes.
anyway.
I
So
have not heard Toonami in decades.
right, Toonami was so freaking cool. I miss it so much. And
Is
then
that, did they have like Samurai Jack and all that?
yep, exactly. They
Okay.
had Samurai Jack and Naruto was on there. That's where I started, and it just kind of like just became a thing that I looked into, and I loved it growing up. And I wasn't like you see some people who they're obsessed. They make it their whole personality, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I played sports. I was into skateboarding. I did a little bit of everything, but in the background, I always did. I'd like watch anime when I was just at home or chilling, whatever. So I've watched it my whole life basically, and it has great themes, which I'll give you some at least one or two options I would recommend for sure. If you were gonna start anywhere, I would literally start with the show Attack on Titan. And
Okay.
if anyone who's watching this has watched anime, they're gonna shake they're gonna instantly nod and be like, yes, that is the show to start on for anime. Um, you watch episode one, I guarantee you're gonna text me and you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is really cool. It's very adult, it's very bloody, gory kind of it, but you'll like it a lot, I promise. But anyway, so I liked it because of the themes. There's a lot of very in-depth themes that come with anime. It's not just like I don't like boring, simple like love stories or stuff like that. That I like a character that is I don't know. They're multidimensional. Multidimensional is why I like it, and that's like most animes, the good ones anyway, have multidimensional characters, stuff that you actually have to think about, which inspires like philosophy and whatnot. So that's why I like it in the background. But so I mean, I kind of when I got into golf, it wasn't like an obvious like, oh yes, I know I'm going to do anime right away. But it just, like I said, it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I had some great inspiring products. Like pretty much before I even started it, like I said, that curse mark glove that I had, I was like, this would be a great idea, or this putter cover idea I had in my head was like, oh, these would be so cool. I have no idea how to find a manufacturer or how to find an artist or how to do anything at all. But I was like, we'll find a way. And we did. And it was super cool and super fun.
So I've heard of that one. I think it's on my Netflix, like to watch. Um, I don't know if you're a gamer or not, but I think the
Yep.
reason anime is fun is I like the art style. As somebody who loves art, clearly, camera wall, I'm all about it, you know.
Yep.
Um, One of my favorite art styles is actually from the game series Borderlands. The new one comes out in September, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
pumped for Borderlands. The issue is I'm starting a job. Not great timing. God, I'm gonna be pissed. But I think that's what anime does really well. Is the art styles are really nice. Obviously, there's different art styles, right? Because there's different TV shows. It's just like how like Parks and Rec and The Office are like similar but also very different. I feel like that's kind of how it is with art styles within anime and everything. But I like that you were saying you don't like a simple character because there's a lot of people that really grasp on to how simple some characters can be.
Yeah.
And I think like that kind of deters me from certain shows. Like I'm not a huge fan of The Office, and I think it's because some of the characters kind of hang on to like one or two tropes for the entire series, and like that's their personality, and then I'm just kind of bored because there's no growth, there's no mature, like there's no change, there's not complex.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I like a little bit of everything. I can get into the office, but at the same time, like I want exactly what you just said. I want to see the growth. I want it to inspire thought a little bit. And
Mm.
I will say one thing I like too with not even just anime, but really anything like Interstellar. Have you seen the movie Interstellar, for example?
It's been a long time, and I want to rewatch it
Yeah.
because I feel like that's one of those movies where you have to watch it two or three times and you're going to notice everything differently every time.
That's exactly what I was going to get into because a lot of anime, well, not a lot of animes, but Attack on Titan, for example, you could watch the show 4 or 5 times. You're going to see foreshadowing that you had no idea was even a thought, and like you're like, holy cow, someone was really thinking deeply about writing this storyline. They wrote from the end and went backwards to the beginning, essentially, just like Interstellar. And that for me, I don't like shows or movies where they like spoon feed you the
Hmm.
information. They're like, this is why this happened. I'm like, no, I want to think about it and like actually inspire some thought, you know?
Yeah. Well, actually, I recently on TikTok I found this out, mind blowingly. But have you seen or do you watch any of the Final Destination movies?
It's been a minute. They're so aggressively bloody.
So the more recent one, Bloodlines, came out. It's on HBO. My dad and I watched it. On TikTok, somebody figured out that before any character dies, and it's not a spoiler because it's a Final Destination movie, they all die.
Yep,
Spoiler
obviously.
alert. Um, Before they die, there's an X somewhere on the screen indicating that it's that character's time. And I watched that before I watched the movie, and I didn't notice it. So I almost want to go back and see if I can find those X's that they talk about. Because you were talking about how they start and then they reverse engineer the movie essentially, and that's kind of what that they've done with all those movies, right? There's a vision to like what goes wrong, and then a group of kids leave, and then shit hits the fan. So in a way, it's similar, right? Um, but yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'm not currently watching anything. I'm like caught up for the most part.
I'm
Um,
pretty I'm like kind of bad about starting new shows, but like if someone gives me like someone gave me a book to read the other day and I like read the first chapter and was hooked, I would say if you just watch one episode of Attack on Titan
mhm,
and if you're not hooked, I would be shocked. But
yeah.
and there's no commitment. Just say I'll watch one episode, we'll see, and I guarantee you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to finish this show." And it's
I mean,
fantastic.
I'll watch one. I'm not currently watching anything. I'm kind of just waiting for like the new episodes of Dexter to come out and
Oh,
things
that's
like
right.
that.
I heard that was coming out.
Oh, it's been out. It's very good. If you liked the original series, this like even like the music is the same and it's very good. The issue is you have to watch the reboot to kind of understand this one, but it's like a direct continuation off of that. The prequel you don't have to watch, but very good. I mean, if you like Dexter, you're gonna love Dexter Resurrection, but you have to watch New Blood first.
For sure, for sure.
It's a whole
I'll
thing.
probably give it a watch eventually once my
I
work
love
starts.
Dexter.
Yeah,
Um,
I do too. I think it's a great show.
oh, phenomenal. I wanna kill people. Not really. I don't think I could. Um, so I do want to talk about kind of some products that you have available right now. I know you know I love the gloves.
Hell yeah! No,
Especially
that's the main thing we're going for. The inspiration, just some cool. Some I wanted to make some gloves that weren't like what was already out there because when I was transitioning from Unity to Hinotori, I was like, all right, like the problem with a lot of golf companies is they're doing what's already out there. They're just making a white glove or a hat and they're putting their logo on it. And it's kind of boring, to be honest. And I was like, all right, like I still want to be in this golf game, but if I'm going to be making kind of like bullshit stuff that isn't very cool or isn't unique, why would I even be doing it at all? There's enough brands that do that. So that's kind of where the glove idea came from was I've seen gloves with the neoprene fabric that we have that are on our wrists and fingers, but I've not seen many that have such unique patterns. And we're still going for that Japanese kind of aesthetic with what we're doing. Not all Japanese, but like we are for the most part still focused in that. I mean, with the name Hinatori, obviously Japanese Phoenix, but um, so that's where that came from. And then the hats I'm really excited about all the hats we have coming out and whatnot. I it's kind of funny the Blue Jay hat. I have to get you one. We just don't have any more of the big ones, and I know you like the big ones.
so
Um,
we'll actually talk about it because I think the big ones might be too big. So I'll show you.
yeah, they're
Um,
huge. They're huge.
yeah, I don't in my head and so in my brain I have a big head.
Yep.
In reality, I don't think I have as big of a head as I think I do, which is kind
I
of
think
like,
a lot of people think that too, but we'll get to that. But
yeah.
the yeah, it's kind of where it started was like I had these first six gloves I came up with this year, and then I had two hats, the Blue Jay hat and the just maroon Phoenix hat. That's my logo for Hinotori. And I was like, we'll see how this does. If it doesn't do well, honestly, I might like call it a day. I'm not going to kill myself trying to like do this, especially with how busy I am with family life and whatnot. And I this Blue Jay hat. I was like, it's cool. Like I knew it was like a nice design, but I was like, I don't know how well it'll sell. I've never done like a weird logo on here that isn't anime inspired. All my products for Unity were anime, so I knew there was a community that wanted them. But these things I was coming up with myself with the help of my artist, and I was like, who knows if people will like this? If they don't, I might be washed to like who knows. So I released all these two hats, the six gloves, and some of the gloves did really well. But that Blue Jay hat, man, it sold out in like a week, and it was just insane. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like I do kind of somewhat know how to make cool designs, and yeah, we just kind of went from there, and it's been going kind of well. So it's been nice.
So I grew up, I still am a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. There's a whole story behind it in third grade. We did a Flat Stanley project. The company my dad works for is based out of St. Louis. We sent that paper to St. Louis, and I got back a postcard and like our Cardinals gear and everything. So like it was super cool. So ever since then, I've been a big Cardinals fan. And the Blue Jay reminds me of their logo because theirs is like literally the Cardinals' lures are the bird on the bat,
Yep,
like
yep,
that.
and
And
that's
your Blue Jay is a bird on a golf club.
exactly. I have something. I'll show this to you because, like, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not coming till next year, but you're really gonna like this. I don't. How do I? Can I chat things to you? How do I show you
I think
something?
so. I've never
Can I
had.
chat pictures to you? Is that possible?
I don't know.
We'll see. This will only take a second.
Nobody's
Long
ever
story
asked me.
short, for people who can't see this, oh, I can send a picture. I just sent a thing of it. Inspired by the Blue Jay, we're going the other route. We're giving the Blue Jay a brother, and we're giving it a cardinal
Oh,
hat. And I'm really excited about that one. It's going to look super cool. And
that looks. I like the cream and I like the rope on it.
yeah, it's just a mock-up, and the mock-up never does as much justice as the actual
Oh,
embroidery
never.
because the embroidery brings out the color so well of the bird and whatnot. So it's gonna look super cool, but we'll get you one for sure, especially as a Cardinals fan. So
Yeah, I was like, I'm like looking for my jersey in my closet. And it's in a different room, but like I have a Yachty jersey, and I've been lucky enough to see a couple games in St. Louis, which is super cool. And whenever they come here, I have season tickets for the Twins. I try to go when the Cardinals are here, even though the Twins are making it
making it real
real,
hard
real,
to want to
real, real,
go.
real, real hard. But the gloves quickly. You've got the bonsai, the cherry blossom, which is my favorite. I love pink. I was since I don't need like a work bag anymore, I was like toying with things. It's way up there. All my golf clubs have pink bands on them, like on the ferrule, because I have custom ferrules with my face on them.
Oh, that's
Because like,
cool.
of course I do. I'll grab it. It's just right here.
Yeah, I gotta
Um,
see that. That sounds freaking sick. I love custom
we
ferals,
we
honestly.
had some extras, so I made it into a keychain. But they're our old podcast logo.
Oh, that's cool. That's
So
really
it's
cool.
so it's Derek and I. They're 3D printed out of metal from 3DP Designs. He does great work. And then with all of these, if you buy them as a keychain, you can unscrew it, and then you could buy an attachment to make them like a single prong tool.
Wow, that's freaking so cool, honestly.
I This is like my extra one. Otherwise, all my golf clubs have that on 'em with the pink, and I love
Yeah.
the pink. So, um, pink, even like an Xbox controller is pink. Um,
Dude, that's it's so crazy. I with those six gloves, the cherry blossom one you said that you like, the pink one.
mhm.
When I came up with that, I thought it was so cool. But I was like, are men gonna buy these? Because I don't make women's gloves yet. And I was like, it's pink. Like, I will men like it? And cherry blossom glove gone instantly, sold out within like 2 weeks. I was like, oh, okay. So men aren't afraid to wear pink. This is great.
Whenever if you ever watch, because a lot of the videos we post, I make, or like I do a lot of like play a hole with me, or I just did one where it's like play three holes with me. The one thing that I can like control over in terms of personality in golf are my gloves. So I like to wear ones that are colored. I wore G4 gloves forever. I had pink, navy, light blue, black. I think I still have a couple pink ones. Um, but I'll wear pink gloves. I have purple glove. Lately I've been wearing a tan one from Four Bros, and it makes it look like I'm not wearing a glove in videos, which makes me feel kind of cool. But at the
That's
same
cool.
time, it makes it hard to like show it off in videos. They sent me one, it's bright yellow. It's not quite my thing because it makes it feel like I'm wearing a banana. Not my favorite, but I do enjoy like the color on gloves. I'm pink with men's one of those things where it's super weird. Like whenever I tell somebody my favorite color is purple, they're like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And it's like I'm not even like a Vikings fan, so like it's not like because of the Vikings. It's just like purple calms me down. So
Yeah.
like pink and purple for me go hand in hand, and it's always like, yeah, it's impossible to find anything purple or pink for men.
Yep.
Um, but you have
Yeah.
the bonsai, the cherry blossom, the phoenix, the pine, and then the spider lily, which is sick, and then the wave. And now the wave, we were kind of talking about my love of art earlier. That is like one of my favorite traditional prints are the waves. Like
Right.
that
I
block
love the
print.
great wave painting. It's so beautiful. It's amazing.
It's iconic, it's simple. It's one of those paintings that has stood the test of time so well. And
Yeah.
it's one of those where I wouldn't say it's anime inspired, but it's definitely Japanese
Yeah.
or Chinese.
It's
I
super.
don't, I don't
It's
quite remember. Um,
what year is the great wave? Well, the funny thing about it is because I was so careful with copyright this time around, you have to be careful using art like that, and even inspired art.
yeah,
But like, there's some rule with copyright where if it was copyrighted like 100 years ago, it goes into public domain after that point. So the great wave of off Kanagawa is how it's
yeah,
pronounced. That's the painting,
yeah.
1831. So it's way
Oh,
past public
public
domain.
domain.
So that's why you see it a lot of places because it's public domain now.
It's the same thing with Mickey Mouse.
Hmm.
Like that just happened, and then people are like putting Mickey Mouse in like zombie games, and I'm like, that's badass. But at the same time, I'm thinking, God, Walt Disney is like rolling over somewhere, and I'm like, I don't care. That's sick. Um, but yeah, you've got a good lineup of gloves. I didn't realize that they were neoprene. That makes it a little bit cooler because you and I both know it's hot here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's that was one of the main things was with colored gloves, sometimes the leather can get thicker, I realized.
Hmm.
Doing the anime gloves, a lot of them were colored, and my manufacturer that I have is definitely one of the best ones. Honestly, I'm pretty sure a lot of the high-end golf companies use, but colored leather is a unique thing you don't see a lot of, and a lot of that reason is because it can get really hot. It can get thick when they do the color dyeing process. There's a lot that goes into it to do it right, and those can be some hot gloves for sure. So this, I was concerned about that, and then when they offered the idea, the manufacturer, because I was talking with them on a call, and they were like, "Oh, we can do neoprene," and I was like, "Oh wow, it's so nice for summer. It's so
Yes.
hot, and those gloves just breathe because the in between the fingers are all neoprene. So,
Yes. Yeah. So one of my good friends, his name's Luke. He does backblast golf. That's his company. Um, we call him the world's most mysterious man because he's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. He's a Marine, so he's out doing something. But I have one of his checkerboard gloves, and the leather on that thing is super nice, but it's like an inch and a half thick. Like it's ridiculous. But let me tell you, it's hot. I'm not.
yeah,
I love the glove, but it's hot. Um,
for
and
sure.
then yeah, you mentioned the Blue Jay hat, gorgeous. Not surprised it sold out. And then the Phoenix hat looks great. I like that red and everything. Um, and I have kind of the initial run of the Unity hats. I'm assuming they're the same hat.
Yep, same
So
everything exactly the same, just different different branding, obviously.
yeah. So these hats are great. I really do love them. I have the extra large ones because I thought I had an extra large head. Um, no. So that's something I did want to talk about. I've never seen a company offer two sizes in the snapback. Because generally, it's one size fits all, one size fits most. Um, I wore this one in a video, and I really do like this one. So it's all the way, and I still have so much space.
Yep. Yeah. They're big, and the reason why was like I have family, I have friends, I have a lot of people who I know, and maybe it's just because we're Minnesota big boys. I don't really know. I
I
mean,
bet.
they're all like electricians, and I mean, I work a desk job, so I can't say anything, but they're all like big guys, and they have trouble finding hats. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not the only one, so I made these hats. The size that you're looking at is called the double XL now, 62
Yes.
centimeter, and the classic one is more of one. If you were in a Shields or Dick's Sporting Goods, those would be the classic size. While these ones are way bigger, and I can't find hats that fit. If I'm at a Dick's or Shields, 95% of their hats don't fit me. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna like come up with hats that I can't even wear myself. That would suck. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
we'll do a dual purpose here. We'll make a new style of really big hat, and we'll also do some custom designs. And it worked out. I actually get a lot of emails from really nice people all over the country who are like, I can't find hats that fit anywhere. Your hat is huge. This is the best. Like, I'm buying all of your hats because I can't find hats. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Cool. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's almost too big. Like it's like comically big. I love them though because they're like the quality is great. I This band on the inside's really thick. Like I didn't notice like my sweat bleeding at all, which was great.
Nice. Yeah, no,
That being said, one gust of wind did blow it off, and I was like, God, that's never happened before. Um,
well, we'll get you for the new ones. We'll get you the 60 centimeter ones. The normal. They're still big. They're just not as big as those. And then they won't fall off your head. Then how about?
yeah, I was like surprised where it's like, God, I've never had a hat fall off that wasn't like a bucket hat or like a sun hat. You know what I mean? And I was like, God, they're big. But at the same time, like throughout the round, I didn't have a headache from, my head swelling, because I
Yep.
think that happens. And I'm like, this is great. They breathe really well. They moisture wick. I mean, I love the Fox. I know you're not using this exact one anymore. I know you have one coming though,
We got a better one.
which
Yeah,
is a
this one.
great
Oh, yeah,
transition
that's a
because
good
I
topic
know
too. Wait, no, that's
as
the wrong hat. I just threw the wrong hat away.
that
Um,
one's sick with the koi fish
the
though.
the koi one's sick too, but no, yeah, now we have the new nut.
Yeah. So you're
Which,
dropping three hats on Friday when this comes out. Not
yeah,
wasn't planned that way, but just conveniently.
exactly. No, that's it. We're dropping the nine tails hat, and then the one I was wearing before. This one's called the Call of the Wild hat, which has like a wolf and a
I like
golf
it.
course inside of it. Which I really love that one. I thought it was super
That
cool.
is like the most Minnesotan hat without forcing Minnesota on people. You know what I mean?
I know, right? I was like, I love Minnesota. I didn't want to do a Minnesota design because then you're limited to just a Minnesota audience. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, and I love wolves too because my first dog, he's 6. He's a husky German Shepherd. He looks just like a wolf. Everyone
That thing's a
asks if he's
wolf.
part wolf. So I was
Yeah.
like, cool. It's an ode to my dog too. So
There you go.
yep. But then so yeah, nine tails, Call of the Wild, and then the koi fish one I was talking about.
That
Um,
koi's cool.
yeah, it's super nice. This one, it's super cool. You have to see in person. It's really hard to tell, but the black within the koi fish is not embroidered, so it's got this really weird visual 3D effect to it that
Oh,
I
cool.
just love so much. But yeah,
For a long time when I was younger, I wanted a koi fish pond. Don't quite know how that would work here, but I've always wanted a koi fish. Don't know
I
why.
it's tough. Growing up, it's so weird you say that. I'm having one of those moments where it's like a flash of being a kid, and I swear one of my dad's friends growing up had a koi pond, and like I don't know how because like it freezes, but maybe he had the koi
Yeah.
pond and then put them somewhere because I remember koi fish growing up for some reason. So
I don't know. I've always wanted one. I've always wanted a gecko too. I don't know. I've always had a dog. I have a Rottweiler mix. She does not look like a wolf. She looks like a freaking boulder with legs. Um, but no, three hats dropping. They look great. I also really like the pricing on the hats. It's I'm not gonna say it yet, but it's a very performance driven hat. They're structured extremely well. The embroidery is great, and the fact that they're under $50, they're under $40 is crazy because I've seen big companies sell less for more. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you get like the basic like Titleist hat, right?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot going on, and I feel like it's the same price where in your case you're getting one that maybe somebody relates to a little bit more with the nine tails. Obviously growing up Pokemon, I thought it was a Vulpix, and I was like, hell yeah, that's sick. And he's like, no, it's nine tails, and I'm like, that's sick too. Um, there's a little bit more relatable with that for $35,
Yeah,
and it
exactly. It's
like
I
the
wasn't trying to
quality's
make like
great.
a melon hat where it's like so unrealistically expensive. If you know what the melon hats are, they're super nice. Like I love
Mhm.
them, but it's like 60 or $70 for a hat, which
Yeah,
I know they're making a shit ton of money on that. That's ridiculous. But like it's yeah, I didn't see any reason. Well, this started out with me just doing it kind of as a side gig because I work a full-time job remotely anyway. So it's not I'm not really trying to get rich. Like if the company I'd love for the company to get big enough to be able to sustain myself outside not having to work remote anymore
Mhm.
or not for the other job, but like I don't know. There's just no
I
reason
know.
to price cut, It's just so
I know what you
silly.
mean. Yeah, no, a lot of the companies we work with kind of feel that way. We're close with John from Back Nine Bullies. He's got kind of the same mantra. I mean, his hats are phenomenal. Like they're super duper nice. And he's like, yeah, dude, they're like $30, like 30, $35. And he's like, here, just take the box of them home. And I'm like, shit, okay.
That's
Um,
awesome. I've seen his stuff and yeah, their hats look amazing. I've liked their brand a lot.
he dropped some absolutely wild shit in our group chat. I woke up yesterday morning and like had water coming out my nose. So I'm like, that's not okay to do to me this early in the morning. Just unbelievable. Um, did you go to the 3M Open at all this year?
No, no, that was during I think I had a 3 week old at that point. So
Okay.
no time to go to
So
the 3M Open this
they
year.
had
It looked
they
fun.
had a hat and I bought it and it's an all over print and it's fish. And if you look, there's a video we did kind of talking about it. I'm wearing the hat. We're not talking about the hat, but I'm wearing the hat. And it was surprisingly only like $40. It's unstructured, but the material it's super lightweight, but still structured. It's like a nylon. And I've worn that thing so many times and I sweat. I've got all this hair.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it does not bleed. Like, you know what I mean? Like the sweat doesn't. I'm like, this is great. So between your hats, John keeps me stocked up with the back nine bullies hats. I have like seven or eight of them at this point. You think I'm kidding? I mean, I was his model for crying out loud. I think I'm set between your hats, the 3M Open hat, and his hats. But
There you
I don't
go.
know. I don't know what you're doing, but it's a great hat. Are you gonna keep doing any like the ball markers or the accessories? Because I know I have that cloud ball marker. Can't remember the name. And then I think I have like a kunai divot tool.
That's nice. The kunai divot tool, those were super cool. I gave those away because it was kind of copying Tomo Golf does those too, but they sell
Yes,
them. So it was just kind of aggressive to sell like basically the same thing. But I wanted mine to be able to spin on your finger, which is kind of cool. So I did that. I gave them away, but it was like a limited time run with one of my certain collections I dropped. They were super cool, super fun. But in general, I will be doing more stuff. We're just start like I don't know. I like brands that do one thing and they do it well before they move on to other stuff. Obviously, you don't want to
yeah,
get into too much. So like the goal is for 2026, I'm going to release six more gloves learning from what I learned this year. One of them you're really going to like. I'm doing a lavender glove, which you like purple, so you're going to like
I
that.
do.
Yeah.
I do
And
like
I
purple.
I love lavender. I love purple, like you said too. There's not a lot of purple stuff, so that'll be a cool one. But so we're gonna release six more gloves, probably three to four more hats, and then based on how we're doing, we're gonna expand into like back into head covers, maybe some ball markers, and whatnot. But that's where we'll go for that. The goal is for 2027 to get back into official licensed anime because I have connections to do it. It's just it takes a lot of capital to do it. It
Sure.
takes a lot of time and money, and don't want to get myself in over my head. So if you have a business that can sustain itself based on its own designs, it's a lot more sustainable than something where you have to trust and license material to do it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole thing with the podcast. We're not making money on it, not a dime, but we wanted to find a way that would supplement our golf.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
it's like how do we supplement golf but still get to talk to companies, podcast, and how we play media day at the 3M Open every year. We've gone on trips and XYZ. I slept on Raul's couch while Ralph slept behind me on an air mattress. Conveniently fell asleep watching anime.
Of course, it, if Ralph's there, I'm sure anime is happening. So
Oh yeah, headphones in, phone going. He's sleeping, and I'm like, "What's he watching?" And I saw it. I'm like, "I don't know." And I rolled over, went to bed. That's why I wanted him to be here so we could talk a little bit more about anime.
yeah.
Um, but you kind of beat me to it. So next year you're dropping gloves. Are you doing just gloves next year, or is that just kind of what you have planned out so far? Like, what is the future of Hinotori? Hinotori.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, the future is, like I said, doing what we know we do well, to continue on that path, try and flesh out more designs like the cherry blossom, see what we learn from this first year, and try and expand into more designs that appeal to people in general. And that it's tough to learn because like some products, like I said, the Blue Jay, I never knew that was going to take off, and now I had to get a storage closet down the road because I don't have enough room because I had to buy like 1,000 of them because people love them so much, which is fantastic. I love it, but like you never know. So it's every year's a learning process and figuring out what comes next. And we're still learning this year, but so yeah, for next year, like I said, that's what's coming next. Six more gloves, a couple more hats, and hopefully beyond that, some head covers and whatnot. But and our goal is along with that to keep expanding our community and whatnot. So like we're sponsoring more and more events and things
Saw
like that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
and
sponsoring or one of the sponsors for the Hybrid Nation, correct? Is that which one it is?
that's a big event for us. We're really excited. We put together boxes for every single athlete that's going to go to that, and it's a stacked lineup. It's crazy that I don't know if you know Jeremy. He's Jeremy. I don't know remember his partner's name, but Jeremy
Derek.
Sutherland, I think, is
Derek
Jeremy.
knows them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know some of the guys playing.
Mhm.
I don't know the hosts at all. It's an event that I know Derek and I would want to be a part of and play, just being local. We don't call ourselves influencers. I would never call myself an influencer, but like I don't know how many people out in Minnesota are, doing what we're doing on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Um, so on some extent, Derek and I are like, well, God, if they want locals to play and make a fool of themselves, Derek will carry me to the motherland. But it's an event that we really, really want to play in one year. Like just be invited to, I think would be great. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have to drive very far, which would be kind of a cool event.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what shocked me because I get a lot of people or companies I guess that reach out for sponsorship, and I most of the time I'll toss them a couple hats or gloves and
mhm.
just give them like a donation basket. But this one I was like, this is in my backyard. They're playing at Fox Hollow, which is literally probably 9 minutes away from my house, and I was like. All these big influencers like Snappy Gilmore and Rory Blackleroy and all those guys, they're going to be there. And I was like, okay, I don't usually throw down a bunch of stuff, but I'll put anything out for every single athlete here because this is like such a big opportunity in my backyard. I was like, I have to do it. and it's super exciting. I agree with you though. I'd love to play in it too, even though like I'm not an influencer. I just own a
Yeah.
company, but it's freaking cool. Like it's right there.
Well, like we have like a videographer we work with. So like we work with Ty from 1-8 Visuals, and he's actually I don't know how well, no, he's been talking about it. He just did video work for Ricky Fowler because of me taking him to the 3M Open and putting him on my media team. So I was out there with my camera taking pictures, and he was out there taking videos with his camera. And Ricky's team saw the video. He took a Ricky, reached out, and Ty was flown out to hang out with them at the BMW Championship this past weekend.
Whoa.
But Ty also works with Roger Steele and all these other guys, and he's done YouTube videos with Derek and I and everything. And we did a 2v2 versus Jack and Jake from 10K Takes. Ty filmed and edited that whole thing. Um, so it's like, if Fly Nation or Hybrid Nation wants locals, Derek and I can go do it. We'll even bring our own camera guy, and he can record it, and we can push it and everything. But I don't feel right asking for entry. You know what I mean? I'd want it to be like, hey, we love what you guys are doing. It's in
Yeah.
your backyard. I know a lot of people playing we've had on the pod already, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool, honestly.
Oh yeah, last year I think it was Patrick Hardy played in it. We know Patrick. Um we've had Snappy on. We had Snappy on when Snappy was still in college.
Oh wow. Was he even blown
And
up then, or like
yeah,
I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know how.
this was pre our sponsorship.
That's
If
awesome.
that tells you anything, I mean, he still had dreads.
That's so cool. That's really cool that
So,
you've gotten to interview a lot of these people, and it's like, like you said, it's I don't know much about your Save Par as like a whole because I know this is your podcast, but then you have your other page, which I know is huge, and
so Derek runs Safeguard. That's his baby. Um, give you a quick rundown since he's not here. His cousin had a Duck Dynasty fan page on Instagram. I was getting free shit. And Derek's like, I could do that, but with golf. And that's exactly what he did. And now Safe Par is what Safe Par is. And the issue is Derek's so busy that he doesn't post as often as he would like. And then he gets kind of bummed out when his stuff doesn't do well. Like he just did like play a hole with me. And he's like, your boy's back. And I'm like, yeah, he's not gonna post for another like 3 weeks, I bet. So it I know he's frustrated, and I'm like, dude, I could like take it over. And I think he thinks I'm kidding, but I'm like, like I absolutely would.
yeah,
Um, but Derek and I met in college. Um, Clearly there's a big age difference. So like he's just really dumb and went back to school, but we met in a really low level math class because neither of us can do math. And we started on Timo golf and sports, and we would do like FanDuel or DraftKings against each other, like $1 matches. We'd like do it for like the golf stuff. So it's like, hey, I
oh,
would pick a
sick.
guy. He smoked me every time. So he got a lot of my $1, which is fine. And that evolved into us hanging out, playing golf. And um, one day we were walking off a local, like just muni around here. And he goes, hey, I have an idea. And I'm like, this is either gonna be really good or really bad. There's no in between with he and I. He's like, you talk a lot. I'm like, yeah, I don't shut up. It's kind of an issue. He goes, I know, I have to listen to it. I said, thanks, big guy. Um, and he goes, and you're very opinionated. I said, yeah, I kind of die on hills for my opinions because I think I'm right. Even if I'm not right, I'm willing to die for that opinion. Um, he goes, we should start a podcast. I put my clubs in my car and I drove away. I'm like, that's stupid. And then COVID hit. I'm at work bored, so obviously nobody's shopping, which was great. I text him like, hey, do you still want to do this? He's like, yeah, I think it'd be really fun. I think you and I have this really fun back and forth, and we'll probably get people involved and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, let me get the Instagram page that way nobody else can steal our idea. And thank God Derek let me have the freedom to run it my way because if it was being run Derek's way, we wouldn't have posted for the last like month and a half. Um, which makes it kind of hard. Um, but I kind of forgot the password to the page. So even if Derek wanted to run it, he can't. But the big reason is at that point he had like 4 or 5 Instagram accounts. Um, so he could not have any more accounts on his Instagram
Oh,
app or
too
something.
many.
So yeah, so I got stuck with it. And we were talking about that with Jackson from Golf Ball, and he's like, because I mean his account got stolen and everything. That's a whole thing. He got like blackmailed. That's a wild story. Um, but he was like, yeah, you can only have like 3 or 4. I'm like, I know, that's why I got stuck with this freaking account. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how Safe Par started. We're trying to kind of transition out of the reposting of like the PGA memes and like the golf memes and have it more. I don't want to say our faces because it is Derek's company. Um, but be more about us and the golf versus just reposting things. So
Mhm.
it's in a little bit of a transition period. It makes it hard when Derek's been busy all summer and we can't really play golf in November,
Yeah, no, I
sometimes
feel you
October.
there. Yep.
Uh,
Sometimes I actually built a simulator in my garage just because I was like, well, I had a baby and it's about to be winter, so I was like, I'm not just
you're
not
not
going to
leaving.
go at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of the breakdown of Safe Par. And the podcast came. Derek also owns I don't even know when the last time he posted, but he owns the Golfstagram. That's Derek as well. And then he has his own little personal page that is just like a tribute to his wife, which is very romantic. Say what you want about him, but he's a man of romance.
That's awesome. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I love that.
I can say that because he won't listen. So I I can say all that. But yeah, that's kind of the quick little rundown on Safe Bar. It's super fun. I'm happy that Derek likes me enough to let me be a part of it to some extent and gives me the total freedom when it comes to the podcast side of things. And
That's
um,
cool.
he's only done one episode without me. I haven't listened to it, and it's been over a year and a half, and I don't think I will listen to it. Um,
Not worth it. Probably not as good, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of the brains and everything behind the podcast, which is kind of fun. I'm like executive producer and
Yeah.
director and editor, and I do all of our graphics.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the guy, how we originally started this conversation, the hibernation guy Jeremy, who
Yes.
the host for that, you guys should have them on the podcast too, because that is such an interesting story for me. I have like their page doesn't have many followers. When they first reached out, I was like, oh, here we go, another small random. I don't know what it was, but I was like,
Weird, right?
yeah, weird small page that like probably not a real event or anything big.
Hmm.
And then they sent me a slide deck on email, and I was like, holy shit, they have some people coming to this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So then obviously I took it more seriously, got into contact. Jeremy's such a nice guy. And anyway, but like if you brought them on, like that would be such an easy topic because I don't know how they're getting like Callaway sponsors. They're whoever's backing them is paying for everyone to fly in. And I'm like, I have no idea how you learned to set this up as
The
such a small account,
the
you know?
part I know nothing about that event or Jeremy or anybody. I know nothing. But why they picked Minnesota is like the big question I have because it's like I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Genius. Being Minnesota natives, this is flyover country for a lot of people. Right? You fly over Minnesota. Like we had our event here last year, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's like really nice here," and we're like, "We know
Yep,
why we're trying to
exactly.
get people here. Like we have people from Boston and Arizona and California and all these places, and they're like, "Oh, this is like really really nice," and I'm like. Yeah, like it's really green. I'm like, yeah, we have 11,000 lakes. There's no water shortages here. Um,
It's green.
it very green, but how they're getting or why they're picking Minnesota and not like Vegas or California, that is like I just need to know. Like, are they from Minnesota? Do they just love Minnesota?
They are. Well, I know Jeremy's from Minnesota for sure. I
Is
think his
he?
partner. I don't think his partner is, but I know he is because I had to drop some stuff off at their place. So like I know. that they're from Minnesota, and I know he's talked about golfing in the area, so that's
Oh,
probably why they do Minnesota. But yeah, Minnesota is kind of a crazy choice in general. But like, I don't know, Minnesota is a great golf state, just like Wisconsin's the hidden gem of the Midwest. Like, I, as a Minnesotan, I'll be the first to trash talk Wisconsin just
oh
because
yeah,
I have
fuck them.
to. But at the same time, holy shit, they've got some great golf everywhere. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I've only played two courses in Wisconsin, so like I have very little
I haven't played
Wisconsin
many
knowledge.
either, but I know they
Other
do.
than,
Yeah.
I mean, Synchro National, gorgeous.
Did you
Uh,
play St. Croix National?
last year, yes.
I played there this year. I played there 3 weeks ago for the first time. I was literally about to say to you, if you want to get your ass just kicked
Oh,
completely, play
it
there.
beat me up. I loved it. I loved it. I gladly would
Beautiful.
go back. Um, although if you a little bit more for Wisconsin, Troy Burn.
Troy, I haven't played Troy Burn, but I've heard such good things about it.
We played Troy Burn last summer. A group of like 12 of us went out, eight of us,
Nice.
10. We had a drone zipping around. Um, they let us like have like the run of the course. Like they I mean it was for like our pre-event. I don't know how to word it, but it was super fun. It was like us and all of our friends flew in, and it was the day of the Microsoft crash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So we woke up and we're like, what the hell's happening? We're getting phone calls like people like they're like, hey, we're gonna miss your event because we cannot get on flights. And we're just like, ugh, we'll figure it out later. But Troy Byrne, beautiful. Like I absolutely like that's one of those courses where nobody really talks about it, but I need to go back.
I'm definitely gonna have to go play that soon then before the year's over, at least, before winter takes us.